Yeah, I am recording this video on my phone. I don't have a whole lot of time right now to make a video, so I just want to put it together quickly. But the first trade of the 2023 NBA trade deadline has gone down, and it's Kyrie Irving out of all people, as he is headed to Dallas to team up with Luka Doncic. Now, the trade, of course, Kyrie Irving just 2 days ago requested trade from the Dallas Mavericks, not the Dallas, like the Brooklyn Nets. And that's, at first I was just like, what the hell are you doing, Kyrie? Like, I thought it made no sense. But then it came out that he wanted a Supermax contract, but Brooklyn wasn't really willing to pay it. Now, personally, I thought the Nets should have paid Kyrie Irving because, after all this drama, they finally had a title contending team. And if this was like their chance to win a title, I mean, I even made a video on all the drama they went through and like kind of how they got there. But yeah, the Nets, they were not willing to pay Kyrie Irving, and I know he's had his issues with staying on the court, whether that be injury or just being in the news for not exactly the best reasons. But, Kyrie Irving, I think the Nets should have still paid him. I mean, I do kind of understand where they're coming from when it comes to being hesitant about trading him, but at the same time, I think they should have kept him and just signed him to a contract. But I can't say I'm super surprised Kyrie Irving got traded. Like, yeah, it's always crazy when players of his caliber get traded, but I can't say I'm surprised because, yeah, I mean, the Nets, they were sitting him, and that was, to me, was just indicating that they were not going to pay him, so, yeah. Now, the trade details is that, Dallas, they're getting Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris, while Brooklyn, they're going to be getting, Spencer Dinwiddie, who's returning to the Nets, Dorian Finney-Smith, I believe, Dorian Finney-Smith, sorry, I'm looking at the trade right now. Dorian Finney-Smith, and then some draft picks. Now, those exact draft picks, are a 2029 unprotected first, a 2027 second-round pick, and, a 2029 second-round pick. Wait, a 2027 second and 2029 second. Sorry about that. I was looking down at the trade, but, yeah. Grading this trade, I gotta give Dallas an A-. Now, the reason why I'm not giving it an A+ is mostly because Kyrie Irving, let's be real, he does have issues when it comes to staying on the court, and he can be a PR nightmare sometimes with some of the stuff he does. But, that being said, Kyrie Irving, I mean, I thought Dallas was one of the best landing spots, and I thought it was the most realistic. I thought he was going to be heading to the Mavericks, and, I was right about that. And, when you look at this trade for them, the Mavericks really needed to get a secondary ball handler next to Luka Doncic because, Luka Ball, I guess, if you want to call it that, like, him pretty much carrying your team it can only take you so far, and they really needed a new star in the backcourt to aid Luka Doncic. And there were a lot of people pondering the idea, like, if the Dallas Mavericks can't, build a good enough team around Luka, is he going to request a trade in a few years and leave? But, they got Kyrie Irving, and this makes the Mavericks even more dangerous. They're like a pretty good team in the West, despite the fact that, Luka was pretty much carrying, with just Luka carrying them. And now they got like a real star next to him. The Mavericks, I think I think they're one of the best, an even better team right now, and like one of the best teams in the West. So, yeah, really good trade for the Mavericks, in my opinion. The only weakness, again, is just, can Kyrie stay on the court? But yeah, they got him a secondary ball handler and a star player, and like, not just a star player, like one of the best players in the NBA in Kyrie. So, yeah, and when it comes to Kyrie, I also do want to add that I think he's best suited as a Robin, which he will be next to Luka. Now, as for the Nets, I'm going to give them a C+. Again, I did not really agree with the decision to trade Kyrie Irving, but at the same time, I can understand why they chose to trade him. Now, their return, I'll admit, it's kind of just, meh. I do like Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he's a solid player. And, in the 2019-20 season, he actually did play like an all-star, but to be fair, that was like when he was really the guy. But yeah, man, Spencer Dinwiddie, I think he's a solid player. Dorian Finney-Smith is also pretty good as well. And you get some draft picks, but like the draft picks are way down the line. Like a 2029 first-round pick, like, I mean, maybe that somehow that becomes like really good or something, but yeah, I mean, the draft picks are kind of like whatever, just because they're kind of far down the line. So, I will say, though, I am not totally surprised that you didn't get a king's ransom for Kyrie because, one, he was on an expiring contract. You didn't have a whole lot of leverage in this situation. And two, when you do factor in those, like, things I mentioned before, like the off-court stuff and his inability to really stay on the floor for whatever reason, I gotta say, I wasn't expecting Brooklyn to get a king's ransom, but I will say it wasn't a great package. But yeah, I'm gonna give the Nets a C+, but as for what the Nets do next, I mean, I don't know. How do you contend with just Kevin Durant and, like, whatever you have around him? I don't think you can really do that. Maybe they choose to blow it up and rebuild. They could always do that, or they're going to try and find some way to acquire, and they're going to try and find some way to acquire another star next to KD and still contend. But basically, all I gotta say, it's really crazy that Kyrie Irving's done in Brooklyn. And, I'm excited for this trade deadline, and soon enough, I will have a video just grading all the major trades that go down during the deadline. But without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one.